Hi everyone, and welcome back to our Fishing Lakes apiaries. We're here in the 14 by 12 apiary. We've got a few hives and a few nukes here to inspect, and I thought I'd just shoot a quick video to show you what's going on and to try and catch up really, because it's been quite a while. The weather has been terrible and it's now starting to rain, would you believe. We've had a lovely day today. It's been lovely and sunny. We've had temperatures probably in the high teens. I'm here on my own shooting this, hence the glasses, so I can see what I'm looking at. But I think I'm going to have to bail out for a few minutes and just jump into the cab of the truck because it's starting to rain. I don't really want to inspect them while it's raining. Hopefully it's just a shower. Looks like there's some rain over to my right, your left. Hopefully it's going to pass. We've also got the top bar hive in this apiary, and I did check them last week. It was miserable and cold, but they were throwing up queen cells. So that's another one that I want to take a look at, and hopefully we might be able to shoot a video and show you those as well at some point. But my main focus is the 14 by 12s. So these are the national deep here in the UK, the national deep frames, 14 inches by 12. Anyway, we've got a few here to go through, so we'll wait for it to stop raining. I'll light the smoker and we'll cross our fingers and hope we can proceed with some inspections. Okay, well, we seem to have missed the rain. It's drifted away. Smoker's lit. We're all ready to go. So let's take a look at this very first hive to see how they're performing. Okay, so a little bit of smoke at the entrance. Got our strap in the way. Give them a little bit of smoke and then we can get the strap undone. I really only have the strap on just to stop the roof from blowing away, which is sometimes the case here. We tend to get quite a bit of a breeze blowing through the apiary sometimes. So we'll get in and see what we see. So you just have to excuse the poor camera work today. I'm here on my own. Don't have any assistance today, so we're kind of shooting this on the fly, as it were. The bees have been very busy. This particular colony last week had also thrown up some queen cells, so I'm hoping that we haven't got any issues, hence the extra boxes on board. They're not actually working, this one. The middle box there is quite heavy, so they've got quite a bit of honey in there, but this one's completely empty. So we'll get into the brood box and see what we can see. A little bit of smoke, just to let them know we're heading in. I think this actual floor is a little bit wobbly, so we'll just have to take our time. So if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Most of the videos that we produce each year go out on our Patreon page, so please do take a look at Patreon if you're interested in looking at more of our videos. There's currently something like 450 uploaded to Patreon, so do take a look at those. If not, we'll be posting videos here on YouTube on a fairly regular basis this year, so you can keep in touch with what we're up to, and we'll try and give you a commentary of how our season is going. These 14 by 12s I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. I find them a little bit too deep, and sometimes if you don't have the room, then the bottom parts tend to get a bit congested. We've got some what appear to be rudimentary queen cups on this frame, so we'll see how we proceed with our inspection. For the beginner beekeepers out there, the number one thing that you're looking for are eggs at this particular juncture. Before you start knocking down any queen cells, you really want to be seeing some eggs, and if you see some eggs, then you can then make a decision on what you want to do with the queen cells. So quite a lot of drone brood here. So we've got drone brood popping up, these large clusters here. and then we've got some worker brood beside it. So the Patreon page is a subscription page. You can access the videos. I also have a weekly podcast that you can subscribe to, and I also have an online mentoring help tier called Coaching Plus. So here we've actually got some queen cells, so it looks as if we've got the potential for either, well, these particular cells are in a what we would call a supersedure position, but there's also one at the bottom here which actually looks as if it's been chewed down. So that queen cell has actually been chewed down. So that's an old one. I'm still looking for eggs. I haven't seen any eggs as yet, but I'm not going to do anything with those queen cells until I've actually seen some eggs or evidence that there are no eggs, and in fact they have swarmed. But we'll keep going until we get to the bottom of what we're looking at. I actually think they may have swarmed, because I would have liked to have seen more bees in here than we've actually got. So it would be nice to see a few more bees, although it is very much warmer today than it has been. So it's possible that we've just got lots of bees out foraging. And so here we've got a frame of brood, and although you won't be able to see it from the camera angle, we have got some eggs. So maybe we have got the queen in here. So I'm just going to continue on with the inspection, going through. But now that I've seen eggs, I'm in a position where if I choose to, I can actually remove queen cells that are in here, because if for whatever reason the colony has swarmed, we're still leaving them with eggs that they can then turn into queen cells should the queen be missing. So we'll just carry on going through our inspection, and I have got some BS Honeybees 14 by 12 nuke boxes on the truck. So if I wanted to, I could make a split using the queen cells that I've got. But in terms of the laying pattern, although I've got eggs, I'm beginning to think that they probably have swarmed. We've got some more queen cells here, which again people would say are in a supersedure position, but actually when you take everything into account, the time of year, the conditions that we've had, I would be more inclined to suggest that those were swarm cells. The nice calm bees. I haven't had to use a huge amount of smoke in inspecting, so it's quite nice when you've got bees that need lots of smoke to control them. So I've only seen maybe 2 frames that have got eggs in them, so that for a start is a bit of an issue. I would have hoped to have seen more, and where you would normally see eggs, there's a lot of nectar being stored. So we'll just have to carry on through the inspection, and then we obviously have a couple of options where we can take some frames out and produce a split kind of on the spot. Well, there we go. Look, we've got a massive massive queen cell at the bottom here, which has been capped. I mean, it's not a great queen cell. I would like to have maybe seen a slightly different shape to that, but once you find capped queen cells, that's a fairly good sign in the absence of a nice pattern of eggs. That's a fairly obvious sign that things are not quite as they should be. And we've got another sealed queen cell at the side here. So I suspect that they have gone, but you'll notice that I'm not going to do anything with that just at the moment. I'm going to carry on right to the end. We'll have a look at this end frame, and then we'll make a decision what we're going to do. There's no rush. You can take your time. You can stop, have a think about it, make a cup of tea, go away, come back. Because with the number of bees that we've got here, I would probably go with the fact that they've swarmed, and we've now got currently a queenless colony. So I'm just having a look in a couple of these rudimentary queen cups that we've got here. There's nothing in those, but we'll pop this back in. Just have a quick look. I'm just looking down at the side there to see if I can see the blue dot that the queen would have had, but can't see that. So we'll pop these back and now have a think about what we're going to do. So actually what I've decided to do is to make a split with this colony. So I've got a nucleus box over here, a nuke box ready to go. I'm just going to work my way back through and pop 3 frames into this box over here, leave them with 3 frames of foundation, and we'll pop a feeder on, and then we can feed them, and that will have a queen cell in it, which hopefully will emerge and then go on to produce a new colony in their own right. So I think I'm going to use this very first frame that had the queen cell on it, because we have others and it just makes sense to go with the queen cell that we've got. So I want to make sure that I don't have more than one queen cell on this frame. I just want to leave them with the one queen cell, and I'm just having a look through to see if I can see any more eggs, because if they have eggs on this frame, then obviously there's an opportunity for them. I say obviously, it might not be that obvious, but there's an opportunity then for them to be able to produce more queen cells, and then the small colony that you produce could also then go on to swarm. But we're okay. We've only got the one queen cell and no eggs on this frame, so I'm going to pop this in here. So now we have a frame that has got a queen cell and some bees on it. I want to give them some food because they don't have any food over there, so we'll give them this outside frame, which also has quite a lot of food stores on it. So we'll move this one across. And that sits nicely there. And then what I want to do is to give them some extra bees. So we're going to give them one more frame, but I also want to give them some extra bees. And the reason for that is because all of the flying bees that might be on this particular frame will go off and forage, but come back to the original hive site. So we want to just make sure that we're giving them plenty of resources, and that could be bees, it could be food, but they need plenty of resources to be able to sustain themselves until their new queen emerges, hopefully successfully mates, and then starts laying in her own right and producing her own bees. So we'll give them that frame, which has brood on it. There's no eggs, there's no queen cells, no additional queen cells. And then I'm going to shake an extra frame of bees in there with them. And I'm just looking at this frame to make sure that it's not a frame that has a queen cell on it, because it might be one that I would then want to use, and we don't want to be shaking any frames that have got a queen cell on, because that could damage the queen. It could stop the queen, separate the queen from her royal jelly, and mean that unfortunately she then perishes. So It's not a good idea to be shaking frames that have queen cells on. So again, I've just looked at this. I can't see that there are any queen cells on there, so we'll pop it in. A good shake. That knocks all the bees off there, and I can pop that frame back in the original hive. So we now have 3 frames with some extra bees, and then we can pop in 3 frames with foundation, which we hope the bees will then go on to draw for us. We've got a feeder, and then we can pop some food into that as well, and then we can leave the bees to produce their queen, for her to hopefully go off and mate successfully and then come back. So we just need to be careful that we don't crush any bees on that side. So there we are, that's our split. We've got our queen cell in there, we've got bees, and then we can use this hive strap. Really nice little span set is the name that's printed on it, span set hive strap, which comes from Thorn, E.H. Thorn Beehives Limited. Check out their website for details, and that will hold it nice and securely. Just gather up the strap so I don't trip over it, and then we can concentrate on the main hive. So we've sorted out the nuke box, and that's all ready to just do its own thing. Now we need to concentrate on the main hive, go through, remove any queen cells except for one. I want to leave just one queen cell in here, and then hopefully we'll have a new queen emerge from that queen cell and take up her position at the head of this colony. So because we've got eggs, we will have to come back and take another look just to make sure that there are no additional queen cells, but we'll do that in a week's time. So I'm just going to go through, find a queen cell that I want to keep, and if on the frame I don't see a queen cell that I want to keep, and I don't see one on here, I'm going to shake all the bees off and then just remove any small queen cells or rudimentary queen cups that they have produced, because I don't want to miss any and leave more than just the one. Personally, I only ever leave just one queen cell. I know that others leave a couple, but I've always found if you leave 2, then they'll swarm on one of them and you lose half of what's left. So here we appear to be okay. So that can be shook and checked to make sure there are no hidden queen cells. A close look around this frame, and you can take your time, there's no rush, you can just take it at your own pace. Again, no obvious queen cells, so we'll shake them off just to make sure. We've got one queen cup hidden inside here, so we'll just pinch that shut. And this frame does have some eggs in it, so it's possible that they'll produce queen cells on that frame. Obviously the bees are a little bit confused because they don't have a queen pheromone in their hive, so there's quite a lot of bees flying around. And I think, I can't remember, but I thought that this queen may be clipped, so it's possible that the queen has been lost on a swarm flight and all of the bees have come back, but it just doesn't seem to be that many bees in here. So if you make a mistake and accidentally destroy all of the queen cells in here, it's not a big problem at the moment because we've got eggs. But if you were to destroy all the queen cells and you didn't have eggs, you'd turn the colony into a state known as being hopelessly queenless, and that's where they're in a position that they can no longer produce a queen of their own, and you would need to help them by putting in a frame of eggs or by purchasing a queen. Do take a look at my website if you're in the UK, because we are now in a position where we can offer our own reared queens and also UK bred buckfast type. So we have quite a nice queen cell at the bottom of this frame, so we'll leave this one as our frame that has the queen cell on it. Just having one last look at the top there, and that seems to be okay. We've got one little queen cup on that side which I'll crush out, and then I'm just going to mark the top of this frame with an X, just scratch it in with my hive tool. So that will just remind me next time when I come in. And now I need to just shake these remaining frames just to see if there are any other queen cells. No queen cells on that one. So that can go back in. And then we've got a couple of rudimentary queen cups on this frame. And that can go back in. And then we just need to fill the gap with the remaining frames, and we've got some frames of foundation that we can use that we've taken out of the nuke box, and they can go in at the edge here, and then we can put the hive back together again. And although you don't necessarily need to have a queen excluder in place because there's no queen here now, I like to put it back on just because it's then on the hive where it should be and I'm not going to lose it. So then we can pop back the boxes, the supers, the honey boxes. They can go back on and just give them a bit of smoke just to get them off the top so that we don't crush bees. We try not to crush bees. It does happen occasionally. And then I like to pop the supers back on, just been stung on the thumb. I like to pop the supers back on at an angle and just twist them to make sure that we don't crush bees by just dropping the super straight down. But what I do want to do is to just have a quick look through this super, just in case we're in a position where somehow we've moved the queen up and she's in this top box laying eggs, where actually we want her in the bottom box. Now, here's a neat trick for you. If you get a super frame out and you shake it up and down and the nectar drops out, it's not ripe enough to extract. So if I shake this, the nectar's falling out. So I know that there's still some way to go with that before it's ready to be extracted. So that really is all we need to do. They don't need the 3 boxes on here. So we can we could remove one at this precise moment in time. I'm just going to leave it as it is set up because it's looking like it might rain again, and I just want to close them down. When we come back to check for any further queen cells, what we can do is to then remove the box that just has the foundation in it, and that will just compress them down into 2 supers. Sadly, of course, it does mean that when you lose a swarm, you lose pretty much all of your foraging from that colony for most of the spring and summer. So it is disappointing. However, I do believe we clipped the queen on this colony, so we should hopefully be able to get all of those bees back into the hive, and maybe we might be able to have 1, possibly 2 supers off them. That would be nice, of course. So let's get this last super on. If you do have any questions, unfortunately I don't have the time currently to be able to answer questions on YouTube. So if you have any questions that are pressing, then please do drop me a message via my website or sign up on Patreon, and you can catch up with me there. Check out all of the latest videos, the podcast, and all the other content that we post through the season, and I'll happily chat with you there. That's it for this inspection. We'll catch up next time, but for now, thanks for watching.